In this video, I'm going to show you the easiest ways to self-crack your thumb and hands. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. So if you're looking for a satisfying snap, crack, pop, whatever you want to call it, into the hand, fingers, or thumb, this is a video that you're not going to want to miss. I'm going to show you the best and easiest ways to be able to get that self-mobilization that you're looking for. And we're going to target pretty much everything in the hand, all the way from the carpal bones, the metacarpals. We're going to target the thumb right here, especially that bottom joint right there, and all throughout the fingers. So let's get started with it. So in the first part, we're going to focus on the carpal bones, especially the lunate and the scaphoid right next to it. With typing and driving, things like that, we tend to bring our wrist back, and at that point we can drive those carpal bones posterior or backwards. And when that happens, you can get a lot of irritation, especially with the lunate, into the carpal tunnel. How we can find the carpal tunnel is very easy. If we take our wrist and just go like this, you'll notice that one big line runs right here on the wrist, and if you follow it, that would be where the carpal tunnel goes in with the median nerve that controls those three fingers. So let's focus on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just find right in the middle here a nice hole right in the center of the wrist. If you push into the center, you should find this big divot. That is where the lunate sits. So our contact point for this is we're going to stabilize the bottom right here, right around that carpal tunnel, with a finger like this, if you can see it, and then I'm going to take my thumb and go right over that divot. And I'm also going to pinch into it like this, so I really want to make sure that it's nice and stable. I'm just going to take the wrist and I'm going to kind of go into a nice whipping motion while I put pressure over that area. How you know if you found the lunate is because you'll start to feel this rolling motion going on, and at that point, kind of like a clunk. You know at that point you have a good contact point. So the movement to self-adjust the lunate is very simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply pressure into that area. I'm going to distract or pull on the hand right here to create a traction, and then I'm going to do a whipping motion into the wrist. So I'm going to roll the fingers back like this while I bring the thumb down, and that is what is going to drive that lunate downwards. So watch how I do this. I'm going to pull on it, and then I'm just going to whip at the wrist just like that, and actually I got a pretty good release. You might get a very good satisfying pop or crack in there, especially if it's ready to go. If you need to target a little bit over, especially over that scaphoid, we do the same thing. We stabilize at the bottom, we go over just a little bit towards our thumb right here, and we're just going to roll around until we feel that nice clunking sensation in the same movement. What I'm going to do is just going to pull on it and then whip into the wrist very quickly, and at that point hopefully you'll get that to release. Afterwards, just check the motion, see how your hand's feeling, and hopefully it feels better. So here's how we can get the metacarpals moving a little bit easier. To find a metacarpal, what you're going to do is just make a fist, start at this knuckle and trace downwards. You have these very long bones that run down towards the wrist. Those are the metacarpals. So the easiest way to start off with is to do what is known as an AP glide. You're just going to pinch onto it and you're going to bring it back and forth. So let's find one of those metacarpals, and then what I'm going to do, actually let me start up right here, is just bring it back and forth. Really start to build motion in there. And what you'll find is that maybe one feels a little bit more tender or restricted, like you have a lot of just built up locked tightness in there. Just focus on trying to break that free, almost like getting that rust out, I like to call it. And you can go over these spots for 15-20 seconds, take a breather, and do it a couple more times until you finally feel it release. And sometimes you will get a pop right away. If you feel like you have a lot of pain or tightness right at the top part of the hand right here, you might actually have a raised metacarpal. So this is how we're going to target it. You can start off by just supporting underneath the hand right here over those metacarpals and pressing into it with your thumb. Just put a pressure in as far as you feel comfortable and hold that for up to 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat. If you feel like you need a little bit more, this is how we can target that. So I'm going to start with these two to begin with. I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to cup around the hand just like that, and I'm going to take this part of the other hand, that meaty portion, and put that spot right over that metacarpal. And I'm going to just press down into it like this. This can be very sensitive because you're able to put a lot of pressure in, so just go into it very lightly. So I'm going to put it over this one, and then I'm just going to move over to the next one and do the same thing. And this one usually gets mine to pop or crack pretty easily. For these two, just turn the hand over like this, and I'm going to grab behind it, and then again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply pressure in there to target those areas. And this right here is a wonderful way just to get those carpal bones, or I should say those metacarpal bones, really moving. So if you do have a little bit more going at the bottom part of the palm, this is how we can more or less take care of a dropped metacarpal. So I'm going to stabilize the back of the hand like this, and I'm going to take my thumb, I'm going to go over that metacarpal, and I'm going to press into it like this, right into the palm. Same thing, you're just going to apply pressure for up to 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat until you feel like that's starting to move a lot easier, maybe breaking through some adhesions. But just go through all of the metacarpals right here in the hand and make sure that they feel like they're all moving, and I hope it gives you very quick relief. So out of all of the hand and finger self-adjustments, I find that most people have difficulty with this bottom thumb joint. So let's go over a very easy way to get this to self-release. I'm going to be using a flat surface like a desk or a countertop. Next, let's find our contact points. I'm going to start off with the anatomical snuff box. If you outstretch your hand like this, you'll notice a divot forms right here by the thumb. That's the anatomical snuff box. Let's go over a little bit to the outside and put our thumb right there and then move our thumb in a circular motion. You should find that that joint moves very easily right there, and we want to be at the very bottom of that. So let's go to the countertop or the desk, place our hand straight out like this. I'm going to take my other hand and I'm going to place it right over that contact point. I'm really going to clamp into the wrist. We want to make sure this is very stable. What I'm going to do is very simple. This is our anchor, so this just holds everything down, while my hand right here, my whole arm, I'm going to bring backwards. So when I set this up and then pull back into it, you should really feel that that bottom joint of the thumb starts to distract. Go into this and build as much traction as you're able to. Just keep bringing that arm back. If it's ready to go, you'll probably feel it pop or crack right away. You can also move the thumb around like this to put a little bit extra motion in there just to try to get it to release. If you feel like you still need a little bit more, what you can do is a quick motion back with that arm like this. And actually, I don't know if you just heard it, my thumb just cracked right there, but that can help distract, open that joint just a little bit more to help get that self-crack that you're looking for. With this one, go very lightly with it because it can be a very sensitive area, and don't try to force that crack. Start with the traction first and hopefully it'll get it to pop that way. So here's how we can target these two joints of the thumb. Let's start with this one first. I'm going to take the other hand and make a Vulcan sign like this and just clamp down right above that joint. You really want to make sure that this is nice and stable. I'm going to do a simple distraction with this hand right here while this one just stays stationary. That's going to cause a traction right into that joint. Keep pulling as far as you feel comfortable and hold this for up to 10 seconds. Relax, do it a couple more times. If it is pretty locked up, you might find that it releases right away. If you need a little bit more in there, what you can do is a ringing motion like this to open up that joint a little bit differently, and you can also do like a wave-like motion just to put extra motion into that joint and hopefully get it to self-release. To target this joint, we're going to do a lever type motion. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my index finger and place it at the bottom of that joint while the thumb sits a little bit above it, just like this. The motion is quite simple. I'm going to lift up with the index finger and bring the thumb down. That's going to help distract or open that joint up. So when I do this, I just build a little bit of pressure and then a quick motion just like that, and hopefully that will get it to self-release just right into that thumb. So moving on to the fingers or the phalanges. I know a lot of people just like to crunch on their knuckles like this, and while it works, it tends to cause a lot of irritation. So here's a better way to do it. We're going to focus on 3 parts, 3 knuckles. This one, the middle one, and then the one near the fingernail. Let's start with this one first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make that Vulcan sign again, and I'm going to just clamp right above that joint. I'm going to straighten the finger out. So actually, let me show you this one because it's a little bit easier to see. And I'm just going to pull on it. So this hand is just going to pull to distract that knuckle joint. Only go to your comfort level. And you want to hold this for up to 5 seconds. Sometimes you will get an immediate pop or crack and you're good to go at that point. If you need a little bit more motion, do a ringing motion like this in there, and you can also do a wave-like motion to attack it at different angles. But go through it a couple times and hopefully you get that quick release. For these 2 knuckles right here, we're going to do a lever motion very similar to what we did with the thumb. I'm just going to take the index finger, I'm going to go right at the base of that knuckle joint, and I'm going to take the thumb and go directly above it. The movement is very simple. I'm going to lift up with the finger and pull down with the thumb. So just like this. Build an initial tension in there too, because this will make it a little bit easier. And then you can also do this on this joint right here. But go through all of the knuckles, and I hope that at the end it makes it feel a lot better into the hands, fingers, and thumbs. If you liked the video and got a lot of relief, please show us your support by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing to our channel. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching.